seconds.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to On the Pipe Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepardson, and today is Monday, March the 20th, 2023, years after zero. We got a show coming at you live. We are, first of all, 137 days away from seeing the very first ever Bite GP happen. The Bite GP, the best in the East. I know we've been a little bit quiet on it. I still don't have all my ducks in a row, but they're all starting to get in the general same vicinity. But it's almost already April, and we're supposed to be going racing in July 29th, the end of July. July 29th, August 12th, and Labor Day weekend, September 2nd. We got locations, but the last one, Labor Day weekend, you're not going to want to be anywhere else but that one. And we're really trying to put together the details of that one before we give out the whole schedule, because that last one, that Labor Day weekend one, it's going to be a blockbuster. It's a big one. It's probably the biggest location that we could get to, I think. And it's a place that's never, ever been raced at before. Yet somehow you will all know it and have heard of it and want to be there. And we're going to want you there. So, I have not forgot about it. I get asked about it a lot. I get asked about it almost every weekend. Someone asks me about it. Well, definitely if I'm at a race, I've been asked it by at least somebody at every single race. So, I apologize for not having all the details yet, but ran into some issues as always. I mean, for those that listen to the show, you know it's been a 3-year process about this whole running a race series thing. And now that it didn't work out with one or the other or another, we're starting our own from scratch, and there's a lot more that goes into that one, especially with all the moving pieces and everything that happens. So it still is on the radar. It still is on the books. It still is something that I feel like I need to do. It's something that I want to do. It's something that I hope that the fans want to see, and I hope that we can make it happen. So just want to go ahead and address that. It didn't mean to get straight into it, straight off the gate, but might as well, because why not? So the intention is to still run them, but 3 rounds over summer break, July 29th, August 12th, and September 2nd. But there's a lot that has to happen between now and then. There's a lot that has happened, but then, like I said, a lot of moving pieces, and I don't know, maybe this is the sign that I'm not supposed to do a series, because it's just one thing after another with everything leading up until this point and then what we're at now. But hopefully we're going to do it. Hopefully we're going to see you out there, because a big part of this is your participation and your interest and everyone coming out to race. And if you don't want to come out and race, or maybe you can't race, or maybe you don't have a bike, or maybe you're hurt or whatever, hopefully you still come out and watch, because we're hoping to get the who's who out there and have a good battle to watch. But that is the intention. I can tell you guys, there's going to be West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. So, actually, I guess if you want to go in order, it's going to be North Carolina, West Virginia, South Carolina. So, that is where we're at. Coming up with things. We got everything done not everything done. Got a lot of stuff done behind the scenes, but hopefully we can bring that out and give you some more details coming up. But that is also why I wanted to push the date even farther back until the end of summer, to give us some time to work these kinks out and get ready to go. And that's why we're doing it when there's no one else racing. There's nothing else going on, so that way you can come out and enjoy your time, not have to goof up your other series, not have to goof up nothing. Just come out, have fun, and race with us. But, yeah, just working like heck to try to get that thing together. And thank you all for still supporting it, still caring enough to ask about it. And hopefully we can get some more details out and go forward, because it's some exciting stuff if we can pull it off and make it happen. So just want to say thank you. Thank you for asking. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here with On the Pipe podcast. As always, you guys know that Beta Motorcycles is the official manufacturer of On the Pipe podcast. Beta Motorcycles has been family owned and operated since 1905. They manufacture the finest enduro, trials, and dual sport motorcycles that are known for their premium quality and rideability and hole shots. We're claiming that. Until the next one, they got the number 1 and number 2 spots in XC2. So, sorry about it. Beta Motorcycles are the best looking bikes on the market, and they back it up with their superior performance. Head over to betausa.com for more information on their available models or find a dealer near you to get yours today. I talked with my buddy Todd Palmer over the weekend, who owns Palmer Motorsports. Easy for me to say. Motorsports here in Denver, North Carolina. And he indeed let me know that my old beta machine, the new beta machine, the 2023 390RR, it's going to be coming in any day now. So can't wait to get on that thing, give the grip a twist, and see what the 4-stroke models are all about. Had the 300 last year. Love that thing. So we'll be swapping them out. And we'll let you know how that goes, of course, as soon as we get on it. This episode is also brought to you in part by Zach Tussle at Raymond James Financial. Zach is a racer and a financial advisor that helps his clients win when it comes to retirement and financial planning. We talked about him a good bit on the last show. He has been on the show to talk with us before, but just for listening to OTP, you can get a free consultation with Zach Tussle, and he can tell you exactly what it is that he does and how he can help you. So if you go to financialadvisorsdenvernc.com, fill out that information, let Zach know you're a listener of OTP, and you can hear exactly how he is able to help you and how he is able to help the clients that he already has in the race world. And, yeah, it'll be a good time. So hit him up, financialadvisorsdenvernc.com. We got OTP screen printing, premium quality, and wearability. That's what we got going on over there. So if you need T-shirts made, let me know. Shoot me a DM. Follow us at OTP Screen Printing. We're whipping out the T-shirts, making it happen. So we'll not be in the new studio / office tomorrow. Hopefully by next week. Plan to move everything at the end of this week and get it down here and get rolling with that. So yeah, that's where we're at on that OTP screen printing. But now that that's out of the way, we got a few things to talk about here. A lot of racing going on. VXCS, they had their first race. Josh Deal and the boys. They had a race over the weekend, but then there was 3 races within an hour of each other. Mideast Harescrambles, that's where I was at announcing for them. North Carolina was racing at Brushy Mountain, and then VXCS was happening up in Virginia. So it was a cool weekend of racing. There's still a lot going on, and then meanwhile out west it was the Caprock Canyon National Enduro. So that was going on out there. So we're going to do a little bit of recapping of all of that and, kind of go from there. So once again, just want to say thanks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. We've kind of built this community into something special now. And it still weirds me out that anybody listens to the show. And now it's even weirder how many people listen to the show. So I am thankful for you all. That's why we're trying to stay consistent. We're going to do the Monday shows. We're going to do the Tuesday shows. I'm looking to add some other shows, just trying to figure out how to do it, whether it's full sit-down interviews with people or West Coast Wednesdays to talk about what's going on out west. I think having this new space, having the new office to have the screen printing and the podcast all in one, I think that's going to go a long way in getting everything going, especially to be there, to be able to drop what I'm doing and jump on a podcast and do that. So that is the plan. But, yeah, it's cool, the community that we've built. It's cool to see everyone at the races wearing OTP stuff, OTP shirts and sweatshirts and everything like that. So it means a lot that I have this much support, and it means a lot that people are listening to the show. It's cool to be able to fill in everything that's going on in the off-road world, fill in the news, the headlines, the results, and everything in between. And I always, one thing I've been wanting to say, I just didn't know how to bring it up, but at the races, I have a lot of people that talk to me, and a lot of times I'm right in the middle of doing something, or I'm running around filming, or I'm running around announcing, or anything like that. So if you do talk to me and I'm short, there's times where I leave an interaction and I feel bad and I feel like that person will be upset with me or anything like that. I just want you to know, first of all, it's nothing personal. And it happened this weekend at Mideast a few times. And it's nothing personal. I appreciate everybody. I think a big part of it is like imposter syndrome. Like me sitting here talking to myself, it's strange to me that like I've kind of, in a roundabout way, become part of the off-road community. Like, you should know the pro riders. You should know the fast amateur guys. You should know the people and girls, the people that are putting in the results on the track. Me, all I do is just sit here and talk about what's going on. So it's crazy that how many people actually listen to this thing. So I do get a bit of the imposter syndrome every now and then. Like when people come up and say they listen to the show or recall something I said in a show like forever ago or give me compliments on the show. I don't know. It's hard for me to give myself credit for stuff, especially when it comes to stuff like this. So, like I said, didn't know really how to bring it up, but just wanted to say, like, if I am at the race, a lot of it's overwhelming, but then also, like I said, a lot of times I'm busy as well trying to do something. So, I do appreciate everyone coming up and talking to me, and I absolutely appreciate everybody listening. But yeah, like I said, just some of those interactions, like I walk away and I'm like, oh man, they probably think I'm the worst person in the world, and that is for sure not what I'm trying to portray. So thank you for being here, and thanks for listening. So I guess we'll start things off with the Mideast Harescrambles. I was out there announcing all weekend. We knew that there was a bunch of other races going on, so we didn't know how many pro riders were going to show up. We ended up having 12 pro riders, and Josh Strang, he told me it was going to be a game time decision whether or not he raced. Mason Simmons gave him the track report on Friday or Saturday. Said, look, primo, come on out. So we knew he was coming, and all the usuals. Zachary Davidson, he had a good ride on the weekend. Yeah, he was out there. Nick DeFeo coming back out and racing with us. Mike DeLosa, the reigning defending champ. Andrew Van Adden, Nate Davis, Tyler Palmer. You had all the usual suspects and everyone out there, but then Mason's been in a few. Mason Simmons has been in a few. Josh Strang, he comes out every so often, and so it was cool to see all them come out and race as well. So Josh Strang ended up taking the win. Him and Mason Simmons kind of locked onto each other's wheels and were together pretty much the entire race, and then Mason had to come in and get a pit, and Josh was able to put a little bit of time on him, but then that gap stayed the same. So Mason never fell off the pace, and Josh was still running a good pace. So those two boys ended up finishing. It was like 4 minutes over third place that it ended up being, with first and second together, and then third, fourth, and fifth were all close together. It was Nick DeFeo that ended up getting the number 3 spot, and then Zach Davidson in fourth and Mike DeLosa in fifth. But I'm telling you, that battle for that final podium spot couldn't get any closer. But yeah, it was Nick DeFeo that ended up getting that. So Nick came out and raced the front row at the last Mideast, so the second one of the year, and he got on the podium there. And then he came out and raced this one on the front row and ended up getting a podium again. So back-to-back podiums at the Mideast from the front row, from the pro class for Nick DeFeo. Mason Simmons, he won the first Mideast that he ever came to, and he's always ran up front when he comes back in races. But this time, the master still got the student in the end. Josh Strang took the win and stole that big old check right out of everybody else's mouth. No, I'm just messing. But that was one thing that he mentioned on the podium, is like almost feeling bad coming out and racing them things. But I think Mason gave him a handful, kept him honest for sure. Definitely still had to earn it. But yeah, it was cool to see the boys out there, especially like they train together a lot, they ride together a lot, and yeah, it was just a cool race to watch that one battle throughout the 2 hours at the Mideast Harescramble. So the other thing, North Carolina, they raced at Brushy Mountain. So shout out to a good friend of the show, Destruction D, Dustin Simpson. He grabbed the overall win out at the North Carolina race over Aiden Myers in that number 2 spot, and Garrett Duncan in third. Jason Thomas off the podium in fourth place. Jason came out and raced Big Buck. I think it was Big Buck. It had to have been. Was it? Pretty sure. I feel confident that it was Big buck. But I think he raced the morning race. But, yeah, so he comes out and races North Carolina and ends up getting 4th place. So got beat out by Garrett Duncan for that final podium spot, which Garrett in the AA class, former overall champ there. But, yeah, I thought it was interesting to see Jason Thomas popping up at some races. Now he's at the locals, raced some nationals. And, yeah, I think it's cool to see him out there just for, like, I guess not as a person, but as what he's accomplished in the sport. To see him turning up back out at the races. Hopefully he doesn't sue me for saying his name, or threaten to sue me for saying his name. But yeah, no, it's cool to see him back out at the races, just with all the stuff that he's accomplished. One of the things from my weekend is a dad came up to me and asked for a medic, and I was like, oh, let me call him for you. And I pointed him over there, and as he's walking away, I'm like, where you need him at? He's like, oh, it's me. I need him. And I looked over, and this dude is like dripping a steady stream of blood from his hand. So turned out he like basically cut most of his pinky off, but then still pushed through all that to get his kid out to the track. So I don't know. It's just one of those moments where you like the dedication of the mini parents and of the parents to see their kid go out there and race. So he's like dripping blood. He's like, oh yeah, I didn't want to take my glove off, so I'm afraid my finger's gonna go with it. But still got his kid out to the line and waited till the end of the race before he went looking for a medic. So I don't know. That's just a pretty wild part of the weekend. But kudos to him. So that dad deserves more than just a coffee mug this Father's Day, because I know that had taken a lot to still go out there and be dealing with that finger, especially how cold it was. My hands hurt and nothing even happened to him. So I can't imagine how his felt. But out in Texas, it looked like a desert race. I just saw some pictures. It looked dusty, but it was also super cold. So, but Josh, Toth like both, goes out there and grabs the overall win at the Caprock Canyon National Enduro. So they visited Texas once again to head back out west. And Josh Toth is on one of those kind of do everything, do whatever you want type years. So having a lot of fun, ton of skill on the motorcycle. We saw him in Dominican Republic. He was down at the Terra Inferno race that we were down at, and then he was in Hawaii last weekend. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? I think it was last weekend. And then makes it back to go race in Texas this past weekend, where he grabs the overall win. So Josh Toth is racing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, going all over the place, but the one series that he's doing the full thing of is the National Enduro Series, and he clicks off a win. So I don't know how you go from hard enduro in the hills of Hawaii to coming back and winning the overall at a National Enduro, but I think he posted that it was time to go fast again, and he went pretty damn fast, at least faster than everybody else out there that day. Grant Baylor ends up in the number 2 spot, so we saw Grant get the win at the first round, backs it up with a second-place finish on that new Kawasaki at the second round, and then Ricky Russell gets on the overall podium, which, as I'm saying that, I guess everybody hadn't checked in when I checked it for the last time over the weekend. I got the results pulled up here now, but I remember looking at it over the weekend, and Craig DeLong was in that number 3 spot. So it doesn't look like anything happened. I think just everybody hadn't checked in or something, I guess, is what it had to have been. So Josh Toth grabs the win, Grant Baylor in second, Ricky Russell in third, Craig DeLong in fourth, and Ryder Lafferty rounding out your top 5. But that brings us right into our 6th-place finisher overall. Thorne Devlin goes out and grabs the win in the Pro 2 class in 6th place overall. We actually went on a pretty good rant about Thorne Devlin just a few weeks ago with me and Craig Goobergazer when he was on here. So cool to see Thorne get that success, and I know he's got to be feeling good after grabbing that win. So he takes the win in that Pro 2 class. 2nd place in the Pro 2 class was none other than Bubs Tasha. So Bubs Tasha holds on to that thing, finishes 2nd place in that Pro 2 class, just ahead of Liam Draper, who rounds out the top 10 riders overall and 3rd place in the Pro 2 class. We take a look at our women's. Rachel Goodish, we mentioned at the Georgia race, was a half an inch away from getting her first ever GNCC win, with Rachel Archer falling at the finish line. But I guess Rachel Goodish staying high on that confidence and that momentum, taking it out to Texas with her. She grabs the win out there, just ahead of reigning, defending back-to-back women's champion, Mackenzie Tricker. So Mackenzie Tricker is going to land in that number 3 spot, and then Corey Steed will be your 4th fastest woman rider that was out on the track down there at the National Enduro. And then, of course, as always, got to give a little shout-out to our top AM. It was Gavin Sievenpiper that ended up taking the top AM honors out there in Texas. So that is the way things shook down. I wish I had more results, more stories from the races and everything. But yeah, it was a good weekend. It was cold at the Mideast race, but it was a brand new racetrack. It was in Morganton, North Carolina this coming weekend, I should say. There's a brand new track again in Ferguson, North Carolina, like almost up near Boone. So it's in the mountains. So it's going to be good dirt. It's going to be a good time. If you want to come out and go racing, that's where I'll be at on the microphone. Hopefully have the new beta bike by the weekend so I can bring that up there, do a little pre-riding on the course, test out my leg, test out the bike, test out the new track. All sorts of new testing to go out there with. But in the meantime, I just put out a YouTube video today. So really trying to focus, I think I mentioned last week, trying to focus on getting that the YouTube content up and going. So hopefully we can bring you more of that. Hopefully in the coming weeks, we got some scheduled pro rider segments that we'll film. They'll be like little one-off pieces. But I also have a lot of stuff in the archives that we still need to get through as well. So today I put up day 2 of the Terra Inferno down in the Dominican Republic because as I was sitting there freezing my tail off at the Mideast Harescramble this past weekend, couldn't help but to think about when we were on a beach announcing races and watching races instead. So day 2 of the Terra Inferno was up. I put up a day 1 raw highlight of the hard enduro that was in the daylight, like in the little mine out there, but this time it is day 2, so this one was in the jungle, like for real jungle, and it was also at night, so it was pitch black. They had some string lights going through there and some headlights and stuff. So put up the behind the scenes, a lot of stuff with Ronnie Mack and Travis Pastrana on there, going back and forth in only the way that those two can. Sipes too, Ryan Sipes in there as well. Just all them going back and forth. That was such a hilarious trip and such a hilarious experience. And that was also one of those imposter moments where it was hilarious that for some reason I was there and invited. But no, I tried to do my best to show some of the behind the scenes stuff. So as I mentioned, put all that stuff together. It's out on YouTube now. You can go check it out. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. That's going to help a lot, especially trying to build this thing up and get more stuff going out there. But yeah, just go to YouTube, search for On the Pipe Podcast. Last year at Bigger Buck, so the second Big Buck, Tiger Run, Bigger Buck, whatever you want to call it. I filmed a vlog of like what I do at the races and kind of how I get around and how I get video. So that is one that I've been working on editing for a while. That will probably be the next one that comes out on the YouTube channel. So be on the lookout for that one. And I also got several other random races that for whatever reason I never put out a video. So lots of stuff to go through and lots of stuff to create. We got a fun episode planned this week. Not sure on a day yet, but Banks. If you're not familiar with Banks, you should probably get familiar with him. If you saw down in the Dominican Republic, there was a fella that did a backflip off of there's like the little berm that went out over the water. And you probably saw someone doing a backflip off of it. That was Banks. So you can give Banks a follow. He does all sorts of stuff with pit bikes, does all sorts of stuff with Nitro Circus and freestyle motocross and pit bike stuff and all sorts of crazy stuff. So we're going to talk to Banks coming up. It's going to be this week. We haven't figured out a complete date yet, but yeah, we'll hear from him. And yeah, tomorrow we got an OTP Tuesday. We got 2 guests confirmed. Still waiting on one more guest. either way, we'll have 2 or 3 guests on OTP Tuesday tomorrow, hear from them, and go on about our business there. So just want to say thank you for watching. Don't forget, check out that YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you're listening at. If you made it this far into the show, sorry it was a little bit of a stinker. Trying to put it together, but nevertheless, those are the results. There is what happened over the weekend. And hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow for OTP Tuesday. Be a friend, tell a friend. We'll see you next time on OTP.